That'll then give you other. Okay, well, hold on. There we go.
Why does he look like that?
If I put this in here, you can see that this is going to give me a Regal Orb with a Regal Shard, which upgrades a magic item to a rare item. So this allows you to progress items from a white to a blue to a gold or yellow, whatever you want to call a rare item, and push things through all the way up to an Exalted, which is the ultimate goal. So this gives you the materials to have in the later game. So do it now so you've got plenty to go on. And once you hit 10 shards, it automatically converts it to an orb for you. One last thing to note, if you're just getting started a little bit into the game, maybe an hour or two, you'll get the hooded one, will then allow you to identify all items and of course refund passives. So now I can go ahead and sell these for more if I really want, but the big thing here is to disenchant all of your items that you don't need. Now I did just say you can skip any white item in the game. That's not entirely true.
We want to start shooting in 3 weeks, and your life rights are the last thing we need, so...
Gonna stop you right there, Beth.
This brings up salvage.
Hey, Baby Drat.
Once you get to a certain part of the game, you give the tools
Thank you for
to
the 10 biddies.
blacksmith. You can now use this salvage bench.
This is
And
so loud.
Anything that is
It's not
superior,
crazy
that
loud.
has a quality, like that it has right there, or anything that has a socket, can now be broken down at the salvage bench for a currency. So you click on the salvage bench, you got this little hammer. Like this, it's going to give you artificer shards, stack of 10 to become artificer orbs. Add a rune socket to a martial weapon or armor. So this is how you're going to socket anything that you really like. And then this is going to give us armor scrap. Improves the quality of an armor. If I click the item, I click to apply it, the max quality is 20%. That quality just makes it an overall better item. So I know what I said before, but this is also a very important part of this mechanic. And one last note here too is anytime you are playing the game, if you see little tiny squares on a item's name, that
fuck
means
are
it has a
those?
socket. And I'm also
Oh,
recording this
Maggie.
live, so you probably heard someone being praised about the Emperor. We'll just kind of keep moving on in the video though. Depending on what class you're playing, you're going to be swapping between weapon sets for specific abilities. And in doing so, you might have abilities that all come from the same weapon class, as it were. So for example, I'm using a one-handed and a two-handed mace on this character. So if you take a look at my skills, I can see by swapping my weapons how much DPS is coming out of my character for the specific weapon.
Why am I so
I'm
laggy?
using.
I
So
have
if
a
I
bunch
take a
of
look
stuff
at my
open, that's
one-handed weapon, DPS on Bone Shatter is 110. And if I go ahead and look at Rolling Slam, it's 141 on the two-handed weapon versus 121 on my one-handed. Well, the game will automatically swap to any weapon that has a specific skill. So if I was, say, using a bow and arrow, it will swap and use the bow and arrow skill before swapping back to whatever one, corresponding to my abilities at the bottom. But in this case, you have to either manually swap or choose a skill, like a mace strike, that will force a swap. But you can get around this. So let's look at Rolling Slam. Remember, it does more damage with my two-handed weapon, right? So I'm going to go ahead and press this little arrow, and at the bottom of the screen,
Wait, I
says
wonder why my
use
multi-stream's
with
not working.
weapon
That's
set.
interesting.
I'm only going to use it with two.
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
So now
I'm not sure why
the
it's
game
not
will force use
showing-
my two-handed weapon when I want to use Rolling Slam, and it will fluidly switch back to my one-handed weapon when I want to use Bone Shatter, which has a higher DPS. This is a great way to
Hold
allow
on,
you
my-
to split
my
weapons
chat's being
that are
weird.
using the same weapon class to use different weapon sets to get the most damage, or maybe a specific element. Maybe you're using a quarterstaff and you have one quarterstaff that does a specific element
Let me
versus one that
restart.
does another.
Let me
and you
re-
wanna focus